You ever see anybody double down on stupidity as much as the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau? It's This is the most amazing thing ever. Now, it seems like Canada and US, ever since Trump got elected, are entering a trade war. Trump announced that starting February 1st, he wanted to add 25% tariffs to products being imported from Canada and Mexico. Now, you can understand Mexico. We all understand that. But, Canada's a different thing. Now, when you compare Canada to the US, with the US being, 10 times larger, uh, it creates a lot of problems because one of the top importers for Canadian goods is the USA, right? A lot of the jobs and, a lot of service jobs that are outsourced end up in Canada, especially when you need people that speak English, uh, understand the first world, and understand, America just like the Americans understand it. Usually that's Canada. So, Canada's just been that stable trading partner for all this time. Now, you hear things such as, where those sayings, right? Don't cut off the hand that feeds you, or, stuff like that. So basically, Mr. Narcissism, the Prime Minister of Canada, right? I guess Trump announced, this was months back, Trump said, Canada, you guys got to clean up your border because, face it, Canada has a huge problem with basically letting in anybody. So in the last, especially 5 years, Canada's been, known to let in the entire third world, every refugee from every, standoff, war, incursion, like you name it. Like we're not even, pretty much taking refugees that are refugees anymore. We're taking people that don't want to just be in their country. And so that creates a huge problem, right? They opened the door, believe it or not, they opened the door. I think it was like 1 million Ukrainians. They're going through war, which, I mean, listen, I know there's a lot of racists out there that like to complain that it's okay, to take in white refugees, but not any other type of refugees. And I'm at a total, you pick and choose, you take in what you take in, but, it has to be legitimate, right? So, understandably, a war in Ukraine, there's people with kids, women with kids. A lot of the people that were leaving Ukraine, a lot of those people were women and children. The men had to stay behind. A lot of men aren't able to leave. They're in Ukraine and they have to fight. So it's a bit different. This is different than the other problems. We're not getting into, you know, um, hordes and hordes of Ukrainian women coming here and their children and having them, lie, cheat, and steal, um, and basically destroy Canada, right? And take Canadian values. These people, you barely know that they're here because they came in and they act as Canadian as possible, right? And that's where things kind of get tricky because, believe it or not, and this doesn't mean that, okay, well, you're letting in people, they're going to act, Canadian because of their color. And that's not the case, right? Throughout the past, we had a lot of issues. It's not just if you're white, you're accepted. Everybody else go screw yourself. It's kind of beyond that. I understand there are a lot of people that want it that way, but I mean, I think the multicultural way of things is great, but we kind of screwed it up when instead of merit, we just started, bringing in the worst of the worst from the worst places, right? And then if you look at the charts, I mean, we're not going out of the way to attract anybody from first world countries or countries that make sense. So, I mean, if you're maybe a few places in Europe, if you're looking at places in Europe, even South America, places in, like the US, a lot of these countries, Australia, New Zealand, they don't go to the third world looking for bringing in the worst of the worst. They're not looking for criminals. They're looking for doctors and engineers and nurses. You know, if you want to have a good housing market, if you want to build houses for your people, you need people that are willing to come and do construction, right? The Canadian problem is that Canada brought in a bunch of people that actually are coming because they were told that they would get free things. They were told that there's a way that they can get citizenship, that they can bring their parents over, that they can get free money, assistance from the governments, get free education, get discounts on everything, get free money. Like, it's crazy. And you see it. I mean, I'm not making things up. I mean, you log on to the bank, you see there's free programs. My son can't get, free money from the bank for signing up for a bank account. But I mean, if you came from the right country, they're giving you $250 to sign up for a bank account. Some banks, $100 to sign up for a bank account. You're getting an iPhone if you sign up for a bank account, right? And they're shifty. These banks, what they're doing, hey, listen, what they're doing is they don't want my kid to open a bank account and be able to put his allowance in every week. They want some international student to come, put all the money they have into this bank account, pay high interest, take loans, whatever, and then this is the incentive. So it helps nobody. Okay, so this is kind of the problem. You understand this is where we are. We've accepted refugees, pretty much everybody that's come here that was unable to get permanent residency, now they're claiming asylum. And the funny thing about these weird third world countries is that it's one of two things. People are claiming asylum because they're telling our government, which is an alt-left loony bin right now, they're telling our government that they're super gay, and back home, because of their super gayness, they're going to be killed. And that's the number one. So Trump gave Trudeau an ultimatum. Please fix your border. All these illegal immigrants from Canada, from the third world that came through Canada, are now running across the border. And instead of fixing the border, fixing the problem, making things work again, this place, Trudeau is so dumb. These liberals are so dumb. We fucked ourselves fighting back. This is going to be nothing but problems. Nothing but problems. And then they're going to build a big snow fence and we're going to get fucked. All the Indians coming here are going to fuck us and we're fucked. That's what's happening right now.